Hello, I'm David Anderson, and I'm a results leader.
You're listening to ResultsLeader.fm. Being a thought leader is easy. Getting results is hard. This show is for the results leader who lives and dies by their results. Here is your host and Chief Results Leader, Jonathan Rivera.
Yes, y'all. It is time once again for another ResultsLeader.fm, the only show on the internet dedicated to the men and women who are getting results for their clients. Whew, that's a mouthful there. So glad that you are here. And as always, we have another amazing interview with a result leader. Yes, today, Mr. David Anderson joins us, who says, leader is not a title. He is a C-level management executive, board member and advisor, growth strategist, and global value creator. Not only that, but he's a good family man. Let's jump in. David, welcome to the show. Are you ready to rock this thing?
I am ready to rock.
All right. That's what I like to hear. Let's give our listeners a quick win. What book have you given most as a gift?
Well, most recently, since I wrote my own book, Leader's Not a Title, that's the one that I've been giving out the most. Actually, it came out about 2 years ago. But the books that I give really depend on where people are in their journey in life. I'm a huge reader, try to get close to 30 books a year. I don't succeed all the time, but read all the time. Some of my top favorites are Grit, Angela Duckworth. Huge book, especially people kind of getting started out on an entrepreneurial journey or younger people getting out there. I'm a huge fan of Jim Collins' books, Built to Last. And those recently read one, Multiplier. I forgot who wrote Multiplier, but another great book. And Ryan Holiday stuff, also really good stuff, depending on where you are kind of in your journey.
Lots of good suggestions there. Excellent. Let's move on to story time. Tell us a story of how an apparent failure set you up for later success.
Yeah, well, I've had plenty, more than I can count, failures and mistakes. And, from an overall standpoint, those failures taught me to accept failure. It's a chapter in the book. Our life is a combination of our experiences that make up our lives. And anybody who says that they don't have failures or haven't embraced them hasn't really led a full life, if I can be as bold to say that, because that's how we learn. Look at some of the greatest successes there are. For me, if I relate it to business, one of the most for me is that as my role as a CEO evolved and I moved out of the working in the business to on the business and bringing on a GM, a COO, CEO type of thing, man, did I mess that up with a bad hire of bringing a person in. And I remember the day he started and I was like, phew, this relief off my shoulders. I was kind of like, I'm done. We'll check in every 2 weeks and that. And, man, did I learn the importance of, well, first, let me tell you, within 60 days, I lost 3 of my 5 senior members of my leadership team. He was gone within 60 days, 70 maybe of what it was. It turned into a complete failure. Not a cultural matchup, didn't pay enough attention to the cultural makeup. I would say that he didn't do my homework well on what he said his experiences were and what they really were. But what I learned mostly, and as I coach other CEOs and executive teams, is I didn't have a plan. I didn't have accountability. I didn't have results, metrics that had to be lived by. There wasn't a transition period. There wasn't proper communication. I could write a book just on this mess up there. But, the next time around, it went much, much better. Not perfect, but now I'm fortunate that I don't have to play any role in the day-to-day operations of my business. I have an amazing GM, Sasha, who runs the show, does a great job, and I can truly act as a CEO and a continuing entrepreneur.
Now, I want to dig a little bit deeper into that bad hire because we've all experienced that. You said they were a cultural mismatch. So how did you bring them in without knowing they didn't match your culture? How did he get through that part?
Well, The buck stops here. And, I would say there was a lot of things. I was introduced to somebody, met somebody who came with a bigger agency background, big company background, and I just fell into the trap of, oh, this person has to know what they're doing. They're excellent. Maybe our culture isn't good. They'll turn them around. It was, hope is not a strategy. Have you ever heard that term before? I hoped more than I did my homework that it was the right fit. And hope is not a strategy.
How does culture play into your hiring nowadays?
Well, now we have a very robust hiring process. A big part of that is I'm not that involved in it, to be honest with you. Me or my business partner now kind of, not with everybody, with more senior people, we're kind of the, excuse my language, but asshole check at the last part of it that makes sure that they will be a good fit, somebody we want around the office to work with. And we let the other, it's a multiple step process now. We do a lot of testing, like in the marketing business, writing and other things. People have to be in the office and do writing tests and other things to really show that the work they're presenting to you is work that they're doing. So we have a really robust process with senior people and junior people to also check that culture and does it have a right fit, align with our core values that we have. Now, do some still slip through the crack? I have lots of friends who are salespeople, so if any of them are listening, I'm sure they give them grief. But like a lot of salespeople, they do a really good job of selling themselves. But when the rubber hits the road, actually getting the work done, it's a different story. So again, there are tons of great salespeople out there. Don't start sending me hate messages, but it's a game.
Let's talk about investments. What would you say is the most worthwhile investment that you've ever made?
Well, if I can be on a personal side there, Beth, I mean, I don't know if my wife would consider her an investment, but an investment in that relationship, let's put it that way, has been the greatest investment ever because she's not involved in the business and she's mostly a stay-at-home mom, does some stuff. My boys are older now, but man, she gets right to the point with me. She knows the questions to ask. So she has been the best thing for me personally and professionally. On a business standpoint, the big hurdle I had to overcome that I looked at everything in business as a cost and not, when appropriate, as an investment. And that hurt us for a long time because it meant I didn't always hire the right people because they were $10,000 more than what I could get at cost cheaper that we have. And so I would say the greatest investment dollars that I've had in our business, other than other ventures, starting new ventures, but they all tie back to people. The greatest investment that we as business owners can make is the people that we surround ourselves with. And if you have to pay $10,000 more to get somebody smarter than you, somebody who knows more than you, somebody who has a skill set you don't have, do it every day. Even if that means, and I had somebody I was coaching, I had this conversation with yesterday, mentoring, even if that means you have to take a pay cut in the short term to invest in the proper things in your business, do it. Now, of course, that means you have to weigh if you're a lifestyle business versus a growth business. But if you're really working for a growth business, put the money towards the people every single time.
All right. So I'm curious your take on this because a lot of what we just heard was about the financial investment in people. Are there other investments you make in your people?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the environment that we provide in this day and age now of hybrid workplaces where you have an office, but you also have people working from home, that you have that, making sure, I guess it's still financial, but continuing education is important. What we really believe in is having people who are lifelong learners that want to continue to learn. So how do we ensure that they have that? We have book clubs here. We do all of those type of things to ensure that we provide an environment that people want to work in.
In the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
I would say, and I kind of just mentioned it, it's been more than 5 years, but my mother has asked that I don't talk about my GPA coming out of college. So I was far from a lifelong learner. It took me a long time to realize that I don't know everything And I joined an organization. It's been 12 years, 13 years now, called Entrepreneurs Organization, EO. It's a global community of entrepreneurs, almost 17,000 members worldwide, 62, 63 countries. And when I joined that organization, I really learned how much I didn't know in the world out there and the importance of being a lifelong learner, which means not only reading, but podcasts. Last week or the week before Thanksgiving, I just got back from Harvard, where I did a program through EO for a week-long learning program at Harvard. So that lifelong learning is what's really important. And it's one of my core values also, is to live a life of continual personal, professional, and spiritual growth. And that's really what's important to me.
And I think the question on everybody's mind now that you mentioned taking that course at Harvard, you get to put that on your LinkedIn profile?
You bet. You bet. So I am one of 3 kids. My brother and sister both have master's degrees. So I am the underachiever of the family. And when my sister happened to call me while I was at Harvard, she said, "Where are you?" And I told her. She laughed and said, "They even let you on campus." So you bet. I now say I have attended Harvard.
I wanted to get it on the record.
Yes.
So what would you say are some bad recommendations you hear in your area of expertise?
You know, there are so many people who micromanage feel they have to continue to micromanage. That's horrible. You got to let people do their thing, and you got to let them fail. Just like we do, you got to let people who you surround yourself make mistakes, learn from them, and go forward on with. It's a learning process, and they need to go do better from there. Other bad recommendations that I have heard recently is there's a big one going on right now about making everybody come back to the office. And it's right for some industries, not right for other industries. I think you have to manage people and processes and things you do in your business based on evolving environments. Right now in this world, there's very few gotta do's, for lack of a better term, and how we manage around those is really important.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for a public service announcement. We're going to get right back into this show, but I wanted to ask you a question. If you have been listening to the show for any amount of time and you've picked up even one single tip, then I need your help. Get the word out. Tell people about resultsleader.fm. Share it on social media, share it on your email, share it anywhere. Hashtag resultsleaderfm. Now let's jump back into the interview. Let's talk about results. Why do results matter, David?
Yeah, when you sent me that question ahead of time, I was like, well, I don't really know how else to measure what you're trying to achieve, whatever that result may be. I mean, whether it's your result of losing 20 pounds, what do you measure it by? You know, is it's 20 pounds by week, or is it 20 pounds? If you want to have growth in your company, again, hope is not a strategy. So you have to have metrics and benchmarks that you go against. How do you measure the health of your company? It's results or benchmarks that we have of what we do. So again, if you're a growth-oriented business and also lifestyle, you got to have certain metrics. And also, how do you know if your people are achieving what you need them to achieve without specific results measurements, accountability? And I'll be honest with you, accountability is something that I have struggled with. It's hard holding people accountable. I see you smiling at me, so you know it's hard holding people accountable, but I've definitely learned that, and especially myself, got to start with number one and go from there. What I will say is there's so many methods out there. We are an EOS traction company that has really helped us scaling up. Vern Harnish is a friend of mine. That's a great method. There are methods out there, methodologies, processes out there. To me, I don't really care which one you use. Our company, EOS, bit great. I know lots of people that do scaling up. Do something. It builds the foundation into your company it builds the mindset and the culture of accountability.
See, That's where you started bringing the culture in. The EOS is what it's all built on, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it plays a part of it.
Your vision,
Absolutely.
yeah, where you're
Absolutely.
going. We implemented
Yeah.
last year, so we've been on it for a year now.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the last 5 years, what new realization has helped you get better results for your clients?
It's been more than 5 years or 5 years. The best results for our clients come by, we're a service business. So our best results come from having the best people. You got to have the best people that are working on that and working on their business. You have to have a team mentality. In my book, I talk a lot about sports. I'm a huge sports guy, but you have to have a team mentality to win. There's no quarterback can win a game on his own, no running back, no receiver, no one baseball player. You have to have a team around you to make it work. And we work really hard on ensuring that we have an integrated team that's always thinking about the client's best interest. We call it, we're tactically agnostic, is that the tactic we use is way less important than the outcome that we achieve for our overall client. And that's really important. Sometimes that means, we don't make as much money in the short term. In the long term, if you keep a client for 5 years versus in marketing a year, it's a great investment to do. And so that we really, really focus on that.
What area of your business would you like better results?
That's a really good question. Like everyone, we've had 2 very good years, as most businesses has, of growth. And so that's the one we are constantly focused on. And we've been in business almost 25 years. We've grown organically and through acquisition. There's some rough waters ahead from an economy standpoint. Whether it's a windy day or a tornado is yet to be determined. But how do we as a company ensure that we maintain our growth and even accelerate our growth during the turbulent times ahead? And I think I'm old and I've been in business 20 plus years, so there's cycles coming. And the worst thing we can do is ignore that it's coming. And how do you plan for it? And what are you going to do? I think if we talk a year from now, it'll be really interesting to see how we've weathered whatever storm gets thrown our way and the results we achieve.
What results are you most proud of?
Well, again, I'm going to go to I'm a husband and dad first, and I'm most proud of. I have 2 just, unbelievable boys who 23 and 20, who will be way more successful than I'll ever be and are good kids and doing great. And then I've been married 26 years now. That's what I'm most proud of. My wife deserves a medal for that. I'm also really proud that along with a business partner and a great team of people, we've been in business almost 25 years. You know how many companies do that? The statistics on that are pretty amazing. Now, we've had other startups that have been miserable failures and flopped and lost a ton of money. But the main business and some other things we've done, we've found ways to sustain and grow. And over that time, we've been able to provide jobs. We've contributed to our local community and even beyond. My business partner and I have both been involved in a lot of things, EO, WorldCom, and other organizations. So I'm really proud of what we collectively have given back along with the businesses that we've built.
Any parting thoughts you want to share with the results leaders who are listening to us right now?
Yeah, results only come with accountability. Accountability has to be part of your process. And if you're a manager, a leader, a CEO, COO, you got to build it into your process. You got to talk about it openly. And you got to find a way to communicate the importance of accountability and results into your culture, and don't shy away from it. We've all woken up at 3:30 in the morning going, I got to have that shitty conversation with employee X tomorrow because they're not doing it. And a lot of times we just push it off. It's your responsibility as a leader to take it head on.
I know our listeners are going to want more. Where can they get more from you?
Well, I'm sure you'll post some information. I have a website, dwaleadership.com. You can go there, see about my books, some of my consulting I'm still involved in the agency, which is Off Madison Ave.com, based here in Arizona. And then I'm sure they can find me through you if there's other ways. But again, PWAleadership.com can give you what you need.
Absolutely. We will have links to everything in the show notes. Thank you for hanging out with us, David. Thank you, Results Leaders, for tuning in. Another episode is in the can. That is a wrap for another edition of ResultsLeader.fm. If you are out there getting results for your clients and you want to be featured on the show, go to ResultsLeader.fm now and apply to be on the show. And if you love what you're hearing, share the show, give us a rating and review, do anything to help us get the message out there. Thought leadership is easy, but results leadership is hard. We'll catch you on the next one.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.